Some people say the scariest stories are the ones that sound like they could actually happen in your town. This is one of those stories. And if you live in the Midwest, you may never look at the storm drain the same way again. It was the summer of 2014 in a small town outside of Springfield, Illinois. I was 17 at the time, driving back from my part-time job at a grocery store off Route 29. My neighborhood was one of those quiet suburban developments, the kind with cul-de-sacs, kids on bikes, and the constant hum of cicadas on hot nights. There was one storm drain on our street that everyone avoided. It sat at the bottom of Maplewood Drive, half hidden by weeds and always reeking of stagnant water. Parents warned their kids to stay away, saying snakes or raccoons lived down there. But the older kids whispered a different story, that something else lived in the drain. Something that whispered back if you called into it at night. Of course, I never believed any of that. Until the night I found out the stories were true. It was just past 11:30 p.m. when I pulled into the neighborhood. As I slowed near the drain, my headlights caught something movement. A pale face ducked out of sight in the shadows of the grate. I hit the brakes so hard my seatbelt locked. At first, I thought maybe it was a prank, some kid messing around. But then I saw a hand, long fingers, gray and bony, curling around the edge of the grate before slipping back into the dark. I sat there frozen, my engine idling, and then I heard it, a voice. Not loud, more like a whisper carried by the wind. It said my name. I floored it home. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that face. Pale, hollow-eyed, too thin to be human. Around 2 a.m., I heard something outside my window, a scraping sound. I pulled back the curtain and nearly screamed. On the sidewalk below, right under the streetlight, stood a figure. Tall, thin, its head tilted up at me. I swear it smiled before crouching low and scuttling away straight toward the direction of the drain. The next morning, I told my parents. They laughed it off, said I was overtired, but I couldn't shake it. And over the next week, things got worse. Every night, I'd hear noises, scratching under the floors, whispers in the walls. Once, I woke up to water dripping from the ceiling, except when I touched it, it wasn't water. It was thick, slick, almost black. Finally, I told my friend Mike about it. He was the kind of guy who loved proving people wrong. So of course, he suggested we check the drain ourselves. Dude, it's probably just a raccoon, he said. We'll shine a light and you'll see there's nothing down there. So the following Saturday night, we went. Armed with flashlights, we parked my car near the end of Maplewood Drive. The air was heavy and wet, the kind of night where even the trees felt like they were holding their breath. We crouched by the grate. Mike went first, shining his light into the darkness. At first, all we saw was water and trash, and then something moved. Not fast, just a slow ripple in the black water, like something huge shifting below the surface. Mike leaned closer. "Hello?" he called. That's when it whispered back. Not in some weird language, not in growls, in perfect English, in his own voice. "Hello?" We both stumbled back. My flashlight clattered to the pavement. When I grabbed it again and shined it into the grate, the light caught eyes, reflective, dozens of them, staring back at us from the dark. And then something crawled upward, a pale arm, long and jointed wrong, like a spider's leg. The fingers clawed at the grate as if it was trying to lift itself out. We bolted. Mike was faster than me, but when I reached my car, he wasn't behind me anymore. I turned back just in time to see him standing frozen in the street. The thing had pulled halfway out of the drain. Its face wasn't human. The mouth stretched too wide, filled with needle teeth, and it was whispering his name over and over and over. I screamed at him to run. He snapped out of it and sprinted to the car. We tore out of that neighborhood doing 60 on the 25. The next day, Mike swore we'd imagined it, That adrenaline had made us see things, but I knew better, because when I walked past that drain again the following week, I saw something wedged between the bars. A piece of cloth. The sleeve of Mike's hoodie. Torn. Wet. I never told him. Even now, years later, whenever I visit home, I avoid Maplewood Drive. But sometimes, on quiet nights, when the cicadas die down and the wind carries just right, I swear I can hear it. From somewhere deep underground, whispering, calling my name.